Hey, what's up, Revolution Watchers? I'm Lane.
And I'm Revolutionary Dave, back with Touring History X, Y, and Z, where we learn that every generation defines freedom differently. But everyone agrees it's worth fighting for. Get out your
And
gun.
it's also worth fighting for our sponsor, Hi-Ho Cheeseburgers.
Oh,
While
yes.
revolutions come and go, some things remain consistently excellent, like their 100% grass-fed Wagyu from New Zealand's First Light Farms, sustainably raised and antibiotic-free.
That's right, Lane. It's the kind of quality that would make even a Kiwi blanch. Pause for their storming the Bastille. No, Kiwis don't do that. Visit Hiho.la and taste what consistency looks like, Hobbit fans.
July 14th, Dave. Working in the Bastille Day reference there with the sponsor
Uh-huh.
plug. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been looking at this date thinking it's like a masterclass in how each generation approaches the concept of liberation. But first, those that were liberated into the world on July 14th. Dave,
That's right. Vive la
what's on the birthday roll call for us today?
Well, Jerry Ford, president. Born 1913, the only unelected president in U.S. history, by the way.
Yeah, and Yale grad, an athlete,
That's right.
I believe. Timothy Dwight College has
And
a I think
his
they
real
have an
name was,
award that they give out, the Gerald Ford Award every year.
oh, that's a nice little tidbit there. His real name was Leslie King, ladies and gentlemen. And then there's who?
Was it? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Jane Lynch at 65, bringing deadpan perfection to everything she touches, and UFC superstar Conor McGregor at
That's right.
31, who basically revolutionized combat sports trash
Yeah,
talk.
you want to come at me? Come at me. You want to knock this battery off? Oh, no, that's Bob, Bob something. Bob, yeah. Plus, Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons at 38, proving that rock stars can still advocate for mental health and LGBTQ plus rights. I don't
Easy
know.
for you to say. Were
It
you
is.
thinking of Robert Conrad, Dave? Is
Yes,
that
yes, yes. Come on, that ever-ready battery guy. Knock it off.
no Duracell, Coppertone?
Duracell.
That's
Oh,
right. Go ahead, knock it off my shoulder. I dare you. Good throwback reference. I don't
thank
know if
you.
anyone in our audience is old enough to remember those, but Baba Black Sheep was one of my favorite shows. It was all
Oh,
about the
and
Pacific Theater and the
right.
P-51 Mustangs that they were
That's
flying
right.
around fighting in World War II. It was great.
That's right, and the, other great one he was in was Wild Wild West, where he played Jim West with Artemis Gordon.
Yes, that's another good one. That was back during almost like the Bonanza days and time frame and
Yeah,
Gunsmoke
that's right.
and Westerns.
That's a boomer thing, not a Gen Z or X or Y.
Yeah, well, you know what predates boomers? Our first historical event. July 14th, 1789, storming of the Bastille. Parisian revolutionaries stormed the Bastille fortress, officially kicking off the French Revolution, basically reinventing or inventing the modern concept of the people versus the system.
That's right, it wasn't just a fortress, it was a prison filled with French people. Here's what's fascinating about Gen X's relationship to this. You're the generation that understood revolution doesn't always look like storming castles.
Exactly. We watched the Berlin Wall fall, the Soviet Union collapse, and Nelson Mandela walk free. Gen X learned that sometimes the most powerful revolutions can happen when systems just stop working.
That's right. They're called quiet revolutions. The Bastille was this violent, dramatic overthrow, but Gen X witnessed revolutions that were more like institutional exhaustion. This wall's got to go. The system didn't get destroyed, they just gave up.
Yeah, so we're the generation that learned revolution could be bloodless, bureaucratic, and still completely transform the world. Sometimes the real revolution is just refusing to participate in broken systems.
That's right. You don't need no stinking weapons. Just blow on the thing and it will come down. Gen X took the French Revolution's energy, but applied it to cultural and economic institutions instead of political ones. You didn't storm the Bastille, you just stopped believing in corporate loyalty. Whatever that means.
I think I still think that way. There's not a lot of corporate loyalty going around these days, as far as
Not
I
these
can
days,
see, Dave.
except if you're going for a hi-ho cheeseburger.
Well, that's they're not corporate. They're ranchers in New Zealand, Dave.
That's right. So, July 14th, 1994, the CDC, if when they were still in business, issues its first guidelines to prevent opportunistic infections in people with HIV, marking a crucial shift from AIDS as a death sentence to AIDS as a manageable condition.
Well, we did Gen X, so millennials are probably next. So
Yeah.
you're connecting this to millennials and maybe healthcare advocacy?
Very good. Fine line there. Millennials are the first generation to grow up understanding that healthcare is political, that medical access is about power, and that patient advocacy requires systemic thinking. There it is again, systemic thinking.
Yes. Millennials inherited a world where HIV went from fatal to manageable, but only for people who could access treatment.
That's right. You're the dough, you can go. You learned early that medical breakthroughs don't automatically help everyone. The CDC guidelines were amazing, but millennials had to fight for insurance coverage, affordable medications, and equitable access.
Oh, good. So they already know they're going to have to keep fighting to keep any kind of
That's right. We have the
support.
cure if
Oh,
you can
good.
afford it.
It's like millennials became the generation that understood the difference between we have a solution to everyone can access the solution.
Right. Where previous generations might celebrate the medical achievement, millennials immediately asked, great. Now, how do we make sure this reaches the people who need it the most?
And that thinking shaped how millennials approached everything from mental health to reproductive rights. It's not enough to have good medicine, you just need systems that can deliver it.
Well, speaking of accessible excellence, Hi-Ho Cheeseburgers makes premium Wagyu available without premium attitude. Certified humane, GMO-free, higher in octane and omega-3s than regular beef. It's like they stole my thunder and I stole your line, so you can have
That,
mine.
no, it's like they took best parts of fine dining and made them actually attainable. Revolutionary thinking applied to everyday eating. Check them out at Hiho.la.
Well, keep going, Lane. I want to hear more.
Oh, well, we are done with millennials and Gen X. So Gen Z, sorry you always have to come last, but I guess get in line. July 14th, 2004, the US Senate blocks a proposed constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage, keeping the door open for marriage equality.
And Gen Z processes this completely differently than previous generations.
Tell us more, Dave.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Gen Z looks at this vote and thinks, wait, there was a time when government tried to constitutionally ban love? That's insane!
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. So, where older generations see this as a hard fought victory, Gen Z sees it as evidence of how backwards things used to be.
Yeah, well, that's usually how it is. Gen Z came of age after marriage equality was already settled law. To them, the idea that this was ever controversial is genuinely confusing and stress inducing.
Yeah, it's like Gen Z inherited a world that previous generations fought to create, so their baseline expectations for equality are completely different.
Understatement. And that gives them the freedom to push even further. While older generations are still celebrating marriage equality, Gen Z is already working on trans rights, polyamory acceptance, whatever that is, chosen family recognition.
And they're learning that even though they may take a few steps forward, a particular election might go a lot way backwards
Yeah.
into like zones they've never even seen before. It's like
Look,
the
we're
world's
moving to
going
another state.
backwards. Gen Z doesn't waste time relitigating battles. Well, maybe they do
Oh, they
that have
do.
already been won. They just accept the progress and immediately start working on the next frontier of human dignity. But I think they're growing up and learning that it's not always just forward. Sometimes it's sideways and backwards.
That's right. Two steps forward, one step back. It's this beautiful generational progression. Each group pushes the boundary a little further until what seemed impossible becomes obviously right. July 14th shows us different strategies for liberation.
Gen X learned that revolution could be cultural and economic. Millennials discovered that breakthroughs require equitable systems. And Gen Z inherited higher baselines and has kept pushing the boundaries.
They do have higher baselines, and they look great in them. From institutional skepticism to systemic equality to baseline dignity. Whew, each generation built on the last one's victories until they were pulled back.
Thanks to Hiho Cheeseburgers at Hiho.la for proving that excellence doesn't have to be exclusive and quality doesn't require compromise.
And their delivery takeout is amazing. If July 14th's lessons about liberation resonated with you, like and subscribe, and send us a voice memo about a moment when you realized that progress isn't automatic. It requires each generation to keep pushing. Push, push, push.
Says so, our animatronic answering machine is ready to animate your story of generational progress.
And send you a free t shirt in the works. And send you a free t shirt as well. Until next time, this has been Touring History X, Y, and Z.
Where revolution evolves, but the fight for freedom never ends, and Dave's always designing t shirts for Says So contributions.
Liberación!
Bye!
Bye.